Kia ora. This is John Winters, Supermarket Sleuth, speaking to you once again from Auckland in New Zealand. And this week we're starting with Australia and the impact of COVID-19. Consumer habits never stay the same, but tend to change over time. However, the COVID-19 outbreak has forced Australian consumers to reconfigure their lives. This includes their habits and their spending patterns at a speed and scale never seen before, including the management of their pantries. Volume sales for pantry items more than doubled in the 4 weeks ending 22nd of March compared with the same period last year, according to Nielsen Connect Pacific Director Sarah Dees. The Nielsen analysis reveals the themes that have characterised consumer behaviour over the past months. These include more cooking and baking from scratch, as consumers find creative ways to use pantry staples, and an increase in sales for convenient meal options catering to smaller households of those juggling the demands of working from home and homeschooling. This has led to a focus on quick and easy meal solutions, including prepared meals, canned vegetables, canned soup, pasta and sauce. Diaz says brands focusing on health and fitness are likely to see strong demand from consumers, who generally have a renewed sense of the importance of staying healthy. Nielsen digital content ratings data shows that on the last weekend of March, Australians spent 71% more time online with food and cooking content compared with the last weekend of February. Now, how's this for a statistic? On Sunday, March the 29th, consumers spent a combined total of 63,555 hours on food and cooking sites, the most for a single day so far in 2020. And this new focus on online for content marketing and buying is expected to extend the pandemic. Coinciding with the growing interest in cooking at home, Nielsen HomeScan data shows Australians are becoming more adventurous with their cooking ingredients. Sales of Asian cooking items were up substantially. Supermarkets are exploiting the rise in home cooking, with Coles offering what's for dinner budget recipes having no more than 5 ingredients and starting at $4 per serve for 4. Snacks have also gained pantry space. IBIS World Senior Industry Analyst Liam Harrison says the stress of the pandemic has led to an increase in demand for snacks and preserved foods. Now, with the rising consumer interest in healthy products and cooking and baking, as shown by Nielsen data, it's not surprising that Koja protein pancakes, promoted as adding to or increasing daily protein intake counts, are making it into household pantries. And honey stays a staple, with Hive Plus Wellness Australia CEO Ryan Dalmeida highlighting that there's no shortage of demand for honey despite panic buying during the pandemic. He says, Capilino Honey, the company's best-known brand, benefits from a loyal consumer following and a strong brand recognition nationwide. And of course, he emphasises that consumers are looking for Australian-owned and Australian-made products as well as convenience, and they're very proud of their Australian-made products, the Australians, and they do buy a lot. Moving to Australia, supermarkets. Coles has reported a strong set of results for the fiscal first quarter, helped by increased spending by shoppers in the lockdown state of Victoria. Now, all the prices here quoted are quoted in Australian dollars. For the 3 months to 27th of September, overall sales rose by 10.5% to $9.6 billion, which is an increase of 10.4% on a comparable basis. The results were helped by a 9.8% rise to $8.46 billion at its core supermarkets unit, a 10.3% increase to $209 million at the Express C-Store banner, and a 17.4% jump to $852 million at its liquor stores. Most crucially, online sales surged 73%, with Coles touting on improved user experience such as single-click checkout, improved online personalization, and more stores offering contactless click and collect. The country's second largest supermarket said that supermarket sales were mainly driven by demand from Victoria and to some extent New South Wales, including which Sales were up 17.7%, excluding which, sales were up 7.7% on a comparable basis. CEO Stephen Kane commented, "We have made further progress executing our strategy to ensure the long-term growth of Coles, particularly in digital and online. This is despite significant COVID-related restrictions in Victoria related to our main store support centre, our distribution centres, our meal suppliers and of course our customers." The chain also noted that sales in the first 4 weeks of the current second quarter remained high, with supermarket sales up 6.4%, liquor sales rising by 16.9% and online sales by 45%. And now we cross the Tasman Sea to New Zealand, and some controversy that has arisen with Pack and Save, which is the most successful supermarket in the country. Pack and Save supermarket, the country's most successful, has been fined $78,000 for misleading prices, charging more at checkout for items than prices on the shelf. This kind of behaviour is serious and does the whole supermarket industry a great disservice. Bad news is a bad look for Pack and Save, whose motto is New Zealand's lowest food prices. Its motto is not showing one price and charging you more. Trust is so important in business at any level. If you as a customer can't trust your retailer to be giving you a fair and honest deal, then you'll move on to shop elsewhere. Why such a huge fine? This would not have been so bad had the store acted straight away to put things right when the mystery shoppers who were actually Commerce Commission agents sent their to report the difference between the shelf report when they were there, and they noticed this difference between the shelf prices and on some items, not all of them, just on a few items, and what they would charge at checkout, and they reported it to somebody, a member of staff, and then just to make sure that changes had been made, they went in the next day. And this, I think, is why the price is so high, because when they went in the next day, there had been no change. The prices that they had complained about were still the same. Does Pack and Save realise that now their customers will be on their guard? It affected just one Pack and Save in Auckland's Mangere district, but now customers will wonder if the Pack and Save they use does the same thing. Once trust is destroyed, it takes a long time to build that up again. I think it'll make other shoppers at different supermarkets, they'll be wondering whether their supermarket is also guilty of this, and they'll start to double check to make sure they're not being tricked into paying more. And that's really frustrating, because you don't really want to be doing that when you're going shopping. You want to do your shop, get your receipt and off you go, but maybe some people will be forced into doing this. When this happens, so much trust that's been built up between customers and supermarkets can be destroyed in the blink of an eye. So I advise you to check carefully. I know it's frustrating, but if you simply assume that all's okay at your supermarket, you too may be a victim of sharp practice. The other problems this creates is that it affects the relationships other supermarkets have with their customers, and I'm pretty sure the majority are honest, and if a mistake is pointed out, not only would they correct it immediately, but they'd refund the customer's money and give them the purchase for nothing as a mark of goodwill. That way you regain trust in a situation like this. Now we move on to advent calendars, and of course the Christmas fair is starting to appear in the shops in New Zealand, and amongst that of course are advent calendars, very popular. Kids love them, open a day each day from the 1st of December and out pops the chocolate. But this year they have introduced a slight change in that, or a twist to advent calendars. They've introduced cheese advent calendars, which is fun. I'm on the search for these advent calendars. I haven't found any yet. Maybe as soon as they come in the shops they're zapping out again, and I'm wondering where they'll store them. Presumably they'll be in the chilled area, but anyway, I'm on the lookout for them, so hopefully I'll be able to report back as soon as I find one just what they're like. Now we move to what's really trending in supermarkets at the moment and really going from strength to strength. What has exploded in our supermarkets in recent years are coconut products. They can be found in nearly every aisle in a wide variety of products, including snacks, baking, oil and beauty. And in this part of the world, there are lots of coconuts in the South Sea Islands, so I'm sure there's plenty of stock. Having first entered the market under coconut water, it swiftly moved into other categories, such as alternative dairy products like coconut yogurt and coconut milk, and is now even found in baby food, shampoos, soups and many, many more. At Countdown, coconut-based products have been trending for a while, and the business has seen double-digit growth over the last year. Although there's no standout product or category in which coconut is featured, coconut water is a popular choice with Countdown, it tells us. Over the next 5 years, it's expected that the coconut market will have a 10% growth. Janine Draper, who's co-founder of Faro, which is a smaller group here in New Zealand, said that coconut products, particularly yogurts as they say in this country, and ice creams, continue to have a loyal following among their customers. Yes, health-conscious consumers are going nuts over coconut products. Unlike other fruits high in carbohydrates, coconuts provide mostly fat. They also contain protein and many key minerals and vitamins. Now, let's jump on our jet ski and head up to the UK. I've mentioned before about Unilever's plan to change from being an Anglo-Dutch company to being just British. Well, its plan to be a single-parent company headquartered in London has cleared its final hurdle. The UK's High Court has approved the cross-border merger between Unilever plc and Unilever NV, with the unification now set to become effective on the 29th of November. Unilever NV's Amsterdam-listed shares will cease trading after the 27th of November, and shares in the new combined public company will begin trading in London on the 30th of November. The consumer goods giant has been pressing ahead with the plan despite a proposal from a Dutch opposition party that could saddle the company with an €11 billion retroactive exit tax if passed into law. In a statement, Unilever says it's still not clear, and I quote them, when or indeed if at all the bill will be enacted or in what form, close their quotes, adding that the legal advice has suggested that any tax, and I quote them again, should be annulled on the grounds that it infringes the Dutch-UK tax treaty. Other Dutch tax treaties with states in which shareholders reside, primary and secondary EU law, and the first protocol to the European Convention on Human Rights, closing their quotes. The change from a dual structure in place since 1930 to a single PLC company in the UK is designed to give the business more flexibility for, as their own words, portfolio evolution, such as through equity-based acquisitions or demergers. Now, here's a strange tale. I'm actually talking about Ireland this week, something I don't usually touch on, but as it's unusual, I thought I'd mention it. Aldi Ireland has said it'll pay a finder's fee to anybody who can help it find new sites where it can build additional supermarkets. A finder's fee. The German giant said it's looking for potential sites in the Greater Dublin area in particular, including counties Kildare, Meath and Wicklow. The German discounter says they should preferably be on a prominent main road with good visibility and access for customers. The chain is looking for freehold in the town centre or edge of centre sites suitable for retail development with a minimum requirement of 0.8 acres. It added that it's also interested in leasing new or existing space in retail parks, buying or leasing space in district centres or existing retail premises. And that's it for this week. You'll find me on Facebook under Supermarket Sleuth Magic Talk Auckland, or Checkout, which is the book that I wrote and published in 2013. And I update that each week as I go along, so if you're interested in supermarkets, there's a lot of information there that's coming through each week. And you'll also find me on a Supermarket Sleuth channel on YouTube, and on a radio show that's on Saturday mornings in New Zealand called Weekend Live. Starts at 10 o'clock, runs through to 1, and I'm on at 10:45. What I suggest, the easiest way to get there is to, if you can at that time, and it's in our time zone obviously, go to magic.co.nz and then click on the talk lozenge at the top. But if that time doesn't suit you in your time zone, then visit my Supermarket Sleuth page on Facebook sometime after that, and you'll find the recording of my piece then, so you can listen in at your own convenience and at your own time. Okay, that's all for now. Catch you next week. Bye.